Geneva Alley Cats versus Mongrels United. And here's a joust. Quentin very fast off the boards there. Wow, what a lightning rod that was. Mongrels United
clearly
starting
possession off that joust.
Woo!
And so just a refresher, we do have Mongrels United in the red against Geneva Alley Cats in the blue. Now these are both two very accomplished European teams.
Absolutely. And on top of that, there's some very interesting kind of skills on this court. One, I would say Mongrels United, current world champs, amazing bike and mallet handling skills. And then on Geneva Alley Cats, here in the green helmet, parked in the goal, David Varga, who, in my opinion, may have kind of revolutionized and kind of developed what goalkeeping in bike polo looks like. So you've got some of the most advanced offensive talent versus some of the most advanced defensive talent on the same court right now. Backhand from Geneva Alley Cats.
And that is collected by Doty of Mongrels United.
Oh, he's getting a little fancy there.
And
when is Doty not?
Now we have Manu with the ball being challenged by Quentin as he races behind their goal.
All right, they're just kind of slowing it down there. That was a fast, furious start there. I think Mongrels looking to try to get one really quick and early before Geneva could really kind of get their legs underneath them.
Well, and as you said, I mean, Geneva is an incredibly accomplished team and also has a very good defensive style. So if Mongrels United do not sort of make a game early, it's at risk they might be strung out for the whole game. And they don't want to work too hard. They have a lot of polo ahead of them.
Yeah.
Now Manu's still with that ball, being challenged by Quentin again as they race up the side, race up court.
Looking for it. Quentin gets a touch on it. Pulls it away. He's being double teamed. Oh, can't get through. Oh.
Almost does. Now that's Doty challenging Manu now for the ball. Behind goal.
Doty walks away. All right.
And Quentin's challenging Clement now as Clement comes up, crosses halfway, and just a dump pass to Manu. Manu with the ball. Manu walking into the center of the court.
More calculated here on their offense. Goes for the rip. Wide and recollected by Geneva. On a reset, double forecheck, very, very dangerous there, going pretty deep. Quentin kind of decided to peel off there.
Okay, that's Clement's ball. Cross-court pass to Manu, but is instantly challenged by Doty. No space
pinched off on the
whatsoever.
boards there, yeah.
Now, Manu looking for that center pass, but Doty
nice turnover there by Mongrels.
Cross pass to Morgan. Beautiful scoop pass from Doty. And a little touch. But
just a tiny touch. Kind of a weird touch, honestly.
Well, I mean, it's an important thing in polo. You know, you just have to hit it. You don't have to hit it hard.
Yeah. I just kind of.
But yes, that may have been.
It was an easy read. It was an easy read. All right, here we are. Quentin.
And big shot off.
Just barely to the left there of the goal. All right, Geneva Alley Cats trying to get past Quentin here.
And that's Clement with the
ball.
One to beat. Beautiful pump fake to try and ditch Doty, but can't quite get it off.
Doty's reach, the combination of his arm length and the mallet length that he chooses, makes his presence on the court gigantic. His area of effect on the court is massive. It's incredible. His reach and the fact that it doesn't limit his dexterity and ability at all.
It's something to be said for. I mean, you see a lot of European players tend to have a lot more of a upright bike setup than a lot of places, certainly from Australia, the region that I play out of, and it gives them much more of an imposing sort of figure on the court as well. Which, for a person like Doty, who is not small in figure to begin with.
Doty trying to bait Geneva Alley Cats over into the corner and then touch it out to the
and a beautiful rise by
counter
Morgan.
Attack here. David's out of goal.
Morgan
Geneva Alley Cats.
And that's one.
And there it was. Oh, David from Geneva Alley Cats came out with a counterattack. It was blocked, and then it was answered with a counterattack from Morgan. And that's a dangerous situation right there.
Okay, and so we're seeing two lineup changes. We have Clement coming off for Thomas, and Manu coming off for Quentin on Geneva Alley-Cats, and Emmett replacing Quentin for Mongrels United. Now, Thomas the drop pass, can't quite get it off, being challenged by Doty.
Yeah.
Circling back to their half, Doty playing a very, very aggressive high forward check here, pushing them all the way back into their half.
All right, cooling the play down a little bit here, but Emmett applies the pressure. Now Doty, wow, there's doing a double forecheck here again, kind of hovering about, pushing Geneva deep into its own territory. Oh,
And Emmett's
nice,
not like
nice
through at all.
clean little hit there. Took him off balance, just enough to get that turnover.
Now, that's one thing we'll certainly see in more of these games towards the later stage of the tourney, but obviously if we keep touching on bike polo, it's a contact sport, but it's great to see high, even, and completely fair contact.
Very controlled touch there. Oh, and there's a flub by Doty, who lets a turnover go back to Geneva. Off the boards. Doty looking to get that back. He wants it.
And Doty and Emmett both challenging the same player.
Long
big
shot.
Rip from, big rip, excuse me, from, that was Thomas, I do believe.
Yes, and what's always so impressive about Morgan's play is he is as lethal. He's as vital in goal as he is on offense, and it's interesting to see a player like him who kind of parks up in goal. But you know, I wouldn't. I don't enjoy shooting on Morgan at all. He's
anyone
a
enjoys
wall.
shooting on Morgan, to
He's
be honest.
a wall. So here we are. David's coming out. Goal.
Now, it might be worth just mentioning very quickly at this point that,
Ooh.
as we said, these are two European teams. And Geneva Alley-Cats obviously is comprised mainly of players out of Geneva. But Mongrels United is, once again, a fairly diverse group of players.
Yes.
So we have Morgan and Quentin, who's currently off court out of Lyon. Doty, who I think is formerly out of Budapest originally, but I might have this wrong, but now plays out of Munich, and Emmett Ward out of London. So Emmett collects a pass behind Geneva Alley-Cats' ball, looking for a centre pass to Doty, but goes a little bit wide, so Morgan recollects in the Mongrels United half. Morgan looking up court there, slowly working his way up. It's not seeing hoping at the moment, and trying to make one for himself. So we have Morgan double team behind goals at the moment. Doty with a nice little poke check to try and clear that ball out. Morgan forced to dab, coming back halfway to dab in. Thomas with a long shot on an open goal, but blocked decisively by Emmett and Morgan at that point. Cross-court pass to Emmett from Doty. Big rip and a beautiful goal through there. Cross-court.
There's the little Mongrels hand sign. I don't quite know what they're doing. I think it's like puppy paws or something.
I'm not sure what they're doing in terms of the actual in and of itself, but I think it's very important for these teams and all teams at this level to have something that ties them together and really
Some
builds
degree
team
of
spirit.
ceremony.
And a timeout is called by Geneva Alley-Cats. So we've almost just shy of, I suppose, just over 20 minutes left in the game. Mongrels a 2-0 lead. So Geneva Alley-Cats is definitely just wanting to kill momentum and try and break whatever Mongrels have going for them at the moment.
One thing I'll point out now, very interesting strategic choice by Mongrels United. They came with 4 players. They didn't come with a full 5-player squad. So they only have 1 relief player at any given time to mix up their composition, to give relief. And they do run pretty long shifts. Now, the stamina on the team is pretty good for any given match. 30 minutes is not that much. But 4 matches over a day, 2 days, and then 5 matches today,
Well,
that's a lot to keep that level of play up. And it'll be interesting to see at the conclusion of today and into tomorrow what type of energy that they're going to have to spend on the court. Certainly, in their situation, they don't want to burn themselves out. But they also seem to want to run their bench really lean. Keep things simple. And it'll be interesting to see how that strategy plays out and to see if their quality drops off at any point in the future. They currently are undefeated, and so it seems to be working quite well for them right now. Granted, they're spectacularly skilled. So,
and you know, with that being very skilled individual players, I'd say they know. Sorry, they probably have quite a good sense of when they do need to sub, but they are running quite long shifts, as you said.
yeah, and I think that they're aware of it because they had originally thought about bringing just 3, and so by the addition of a 4th, they certainly knew that they needed something.
Okay, so that timeout is in completion now, and the referee is looking for a ready call from Morgan in goals, and Geneva Alley-Cats now has the cross.
All right, scores 2-0 for Mongrels.
So we have Clement now on court for Tomas, but Quentin and Manu now on. Oh, no, sorry, and David Varga's been subbed out as well for Manu. So Quentin challenging high. Beautiful.
Mallet block. Oh! Front wheel goes for the wheelie shot.
That's a tried and tested move, actually. You know, in the history of bike ball, I would say.
I like the wheelie shot. I don't think it's a trick. I think it's practical. I think you guard the ball. I think there's something good about it.
I think
Emmett with a long rip into the corner. Morgan playing up now, and he's going back, and he's gonna take his spot back in the goal. I will say this: Mongrels, their formula, they don't mix it up very much, and they seem to know where their individual skills and the tool set that they bring to the team is needed the most. Been really impressed with Quentin's play all week and the way he meshed into this team. His forecheck and just general speed and intensity has really been impressive.
It's worth noting as well that at this point, Quentin has quite a history of actually playing with Doty and Morgan. I mean, they've played a couple of times together.
A few times this year too as well,
All right, and so we have Emma with the ball behind goals, being challenged by Manu. Emma's trying to get past and successfully does, and through Quentin as well, but that ball is going to be touched by Quentin from Geneva Alley-Cats.
Nice reset there. Nice reset by Geneva.
And Manu with the ball looking for a shot.
No good angles. No good angles. There. Ball goes high, stays on the court.
Manu recollects.
Oh,
and
pushed
beautifully challenged by Quentin. For the point of clarity, I might try and refer to Quentin on Mongrels United as Bouchard, his last name.
Yes, that might be a little bit helpful.
Just to save all you viewers at home, yes.
Too many Quentins.
Well, I think in the first couple of brackets of the first 2 days, we had 4 Quentins in one bracket from 4 different teams. So I can imagine why that would get confusing. Now we have Manu ditching the ball back down to their defensive half for Quentin, being challenged by Bouchard. Bouchard's still there with him, looking to get a mallet off, and Manu collecting with a big shot off Emmett's rear wheel. Clement collects the ball.
Now, possession hasn't been a problem for Geneva. They've had plenty of possession. They just can't get a shooting lane here. And even if they get a shooting lane, Morgan's parked up and he's ready. So Mongrels United right now, I'd say, as much as being able to bury 2 goals early into this match, I think it's more of their defense that's really winning it for them right now because they're pushing Geneva too much into the corner and just not giving them any sort of shooting lanes to even have an opportunity.
Now, it was a beautiful little deflect by Morgan just to dump the ball back into their defensive corner because it's incredibly hard for most teams to actually get an attacking play from that position. Now, we find Emmett with the ball. And big rip from Bouchard, but goes wide left, but the rebound takes it almost back.
Oh, and there's an unforced error by Geneva. Geneva foot down, and they do an on-the-spot change. Smart move there by Geneva, but will be enough to get the ball back.
Well, it certainly allows them to get a player back in straight away, which is obviously an advantage, especially when they're in that kind of high-pressure situation. Bouchard fighting for that ball hard, but Manu collects. Clement coming up the side of the court with him, providing a passing option. And again with the wheelie shot.
The wheelie shot. Yeah, when you got it, you got it. But to prove you got it right now, you're going to need to get 3 goals.
And we've seen, again, an in-game sub, Doty for Emmett.
Oh, trying to get a little tricky there.
A little bit home for the reset. Can't quite find an option there, but Doty with him. And all the way back home.
Good.
Bouchard calling for a sub. Emmett coming back on.
Oh, a very smooth transition there by Mongrels. Quentin, I think, was having some sort of mechanical issue. He was calling for Emmett to come onto the court. They maintained possession through that and even got a shooting opportunity out before Geneva reclaimed the ball.
That's the thing I have noticed. I mean, maybe it is due to maybe it's a product of the fact they do only have 4 players, but Mongrels United has been very, very smooth and very, very calculating when they have been using in-game substitutions. Being very, very aware of the position of the ball and their other players on court at the same time.
Absolutely.
Now it's a big ditch from Thomas back into Geneva Alley Cats defensive half to be collected by Clement.
Just a little over her halftime on this match.
Mongrels United
Geneva
still with a
has
2-point lead.
to do something if they're going to turn this around.
And that is a timeout call by Emmett.
I think.
Now, I'm going to take the opportunity this time out, and I do apologise, Bouchard, if I do butcher this, but you asked me previously to give a shout out to your previous team from World, Demon Nelly-Shaw. I believe your 2 teammates might be watching the stream at the moment, so shout out to your 2 fine teammates. So that's a timeout called by Mongrels United, I do believe, to just collect themselves after a quite urgent sub. So
Yeah, well, they don't seem to be doing any bike mechanic work, so I don't think that's it at all.
I see smiles in their sub area as well, so
Maybe they just wanted to relax.
yeah.
That or they're just trying to get in Geneva's head. But it could, I don't know. Geneva, I mean, like I said, they haven't had a hard time with possession. They're definitely getting the ball plenty. They just need the opportunity to close.
Yeah.
And until they get, if they can't have any easy lanes, they're going to have to take some hard lanes.
Absolutely. And it's worth saying that Geneva is probably one of the most experienced teams.
Absolutely.
Here, I mean, I think
David himself is a former world champ.
Yeah, and I was talking. I mean, I had the. My team had the opportunity to play them yesterday. And unfortunately, I'm out with an injury. But Geneva Alley Cats, I think, have between combined 50 to 60 years of playing experience. They're incredibly old players in terms of how long they've been playing the sport.
And this is something that I talk about with a lot of young, skilled players. There's lots of young, technically able players who can do amazing things on their bike and mallet, and then they just lack battle hours. And then when you've got teams that just have battle hours, that they're never going to be surprised by something. That's
It counts for a lot.
It counts for a lot. It'll take you pretty far.
Now there's 40 seconds left of the timeout. We have Dodie just conversing.
Yeah, the scoreboard fixing the.
It's currently
the
2-2.
buttons. Yeah. And there we go.
Okay, there we go. So we've had a lineup change.
All right, here we are. Timeout's going to end. Geneva's ball.
So we have David Varga, Tomas, and Quentin, the Geneva Alley Cats, and Bouchard, Dodie, and Morgan on Mongrels United. And they've given the ready. We have Quentin going for the cross, and that is game on. Now, Quentin immediately being challenged by Dodie, not giving him any space at all. Beautiful little check to clear that ball.
There we are. Big rip.
And
it's off David's mallet. And it's crazy. David plays with a small mallet, which is maybe he prefers the mobility over the coverage. But it's impressive. I'm endlessly impressed by David's play.
No, I would agree. I think David is incredibly calculating.
Let's see what Dodie does. Can he get through? Oh, almost. And there's a whistle.
I think that wasn't a penalty. It's just to change the total position. Let's see.
Oh. And Joe's calling it a dab.
Okay, so
that's a tough call, but I think they're gonna award a goal here.
I think from what they were saying, it was.
I don't know. I think that's David's a stable guy, and I think that just his physical self, takes up space, and I think in keeping his balance, he put the goal out of position. The ruling by the ref is that the goal held David up, and so that David was dabbed. He was out of play, and so when he blocked the shot, ultimately, he was out of play, and so I believe that Joe is going to award a goal.
Let's see.
Geneva not looking happy about this. Let's see what. Yep.
Is that an awarded goal?
There we go.
No, I don't believe
No,
so. I
maybe.
think it is just. So I
Oh,
think
the
that.
clock was stopped?
Yeah, I think that was just a caution. A caution to remind David that if he does touch the goal in that way, that he will be counted as a dab player.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's a lucky break there for Geneva. But at the same time, I have to say, at least from my vantage point, I don't think David was dabbed. But it's hard. Reffing is a really hard job. You get to see from your vantage point what you see, and you do the best you can.
and Jervis, I'm looking for a ready call from Geneva Alley Cats.
All right.
And Dodie with the cross.
Clock's restarted here.
Bouchard with the ball. Being challenged very heavily by Thomas, who peels off now. And
Ooh, gets a shot off. Goes just to the left.
Now Thomas
Geneva walks
being
away with
challenged
it.
by Dodie. Ditches behind goal to David. David with the ball being challenged by Dodie. Dodie and David, two teammates actually. I mean,
yeah,
this tourneys.
Yeah, right.
So know each other very well and how
Very
each
well.
other plays. Now that's a pass to David from Thomas. Thomas to Quentin. Oh, excuse me, David to Quentin. Thomas's ball.
There we are.
Thomas winding back to the defensive half.
And
David with the ball being challenged by Dodie.
ooh, a little bit of whoa. Oh my gosh. Dodie comes unclipped and just to kind of do an emergency maneuver there, but doesn't dab. Just fantastic on a bike. All right, Dodie.
Looking at that
Ooh,
cross
loves
pass
a,
to
loves
Morgan.
a pass to Morgan.
Recollects his own
Morgan
shot,
taking a little screen there.
but as he was stationary, that's completely legal under the rule set.
Absolutely.
Now, Quentin being challenged by Bouchard, with Thomas there as well. And Dodie looking high as well, coming in for that high forward check from both players, not giving him any
Mongrels,
space whatsoever.
kind of creating a parking lot situation there behind the goal. Passes up to David, who looks for it. Oh, gets a tiny little flick, but just goes
wide right in the
just
end.
wide right, and he collects it. Incredible effort there by Varga. David Varga. Oh. Amazing. All right. Ah, Bouchard gets the clear behind his own goal there just to prevent another shooting attempt.
And Quentin
Geneva
collects the
looking
ball.
like they've got a little extra
Pep in
energy
their
to
step
them.
at the
Right?
moment,
Yeah,
yeah.
they shouldn't be saving it for anything. We're under halfway or past halfway through this match now. Looking for it. Fires far, and it's off Dodie's frame. Stays in play. Again, no shooting lanes.
Big shot from Dodie there. Recollects of the rebound, being challenged by both Thomas and Quentin.
Ooh,
loses
good
that ball
touch. Good touch. Quentin's staying, or sorry, Bouchard staying deep in Geneva territory
And Quentin
here.
with the ball. Quentin just winding back again. Geneva Alley Cats 3 players up.
Nice
in rotation.
cycling there. All right, strong. Looks like Geneva's going to start playing 3 up. They're tired of being down.
And Dodie collects the
Oh,
ball.
open goal. What's going to happen?
But closed off very quickly by 2 players there.
Mm.
So Dodie winds back a little bit, being challenged by Quentin, now by David. And a little touch off and just wide right.
You know, with that open goal and a 2-point lead, Dodie missed a real clean opportunity there to. Oh, looks like David's mallet hit Bouchard on the arm, and there's advantage called for Mongrels.
And that's Dodie's ball. Playing 3 after the moment because they do have an advantage play. They will gain possession as soon as the other team gets possessing touch on the ball. So that's Dodie's ball. Bouchard the shot
And he finds it.
Finds the 5-hole. There we are.
Now, I think one of the strengths of Mongrels that they demonstrate and they kind of lead a good example of is there's a lot of shots that you have to take, there's shots that you can take, and there's shots that you desperately take. And they never seem to be taking desperate shots. This is not a team that I see take any shots that they don't think have a realistic chance to go.
That's Manu with the shot, and
it's off Emmett's wheel and off the courts. All right, that ball is going to come back over to Geneva.
Alley Cats. Okay, so there's a fresh ball on court, I do believe.
Yep.
Yes, there is. All right. Okay, so that is Clement with the ball at the moment in Geneva Alley Cats half. Play's not yet started. Okay, play on has been called. Emmett challenges. Thomas with the pass over to Clement. Manu collects behind Mongrels United ball. Sorry, goal, excuse me. And Doty and Clement fighting it out right now. Doty loses Mallet but recollects. Morgan slowly coming up the side. And Emmett collects off a pass. Looking for Doty. And whiffs the shot, unfortunately. Doty's still there, being challenged hard by Manu. Clement's ball. Clement still with the ball behind Geneva Alley goal.
Taking a more conservative stance here. I feel like Geneva now with the 3 gap kind of that momentum that they had, that rally that they had just kind of searched for. Little steam taken out of them. Oh my gosh!
You talked about the reach before, and that's an action right there.
Just incredible spatial awareness.
That's Emmett challenging the ball there, shutting off that lane very effectively. Doty collects,
and again, empty goal, but he doesn't take a shot just for the heck of it. Hands it off to his teammate. Now, Emmett did get into the corner there. It didn't go well, but the play itself, I feel like if you start building that with your team, then in later matches when it's going to absolutely matter, that's where that muscle memory and that team, synchronization is just critical. And this Mongrels shows it so well, better than most teams ever can achieve. Woo! Morgan getting a shot and getting the rebound, getting a 2-for-1. BOGO shots, buy one get one. Oh,
so now we have Manu with the lead. Clement shots and
finally gets a lane to shoot and can't
Doty
get it on
fighting
the box.
out hard. Manu dabs. Doty left to be challenged by Clement. Morgan comes up with possession, taking time. Doty's ball. And looking for a shot, but a little bit too late on that pass.
Woo!
Oof.
Emmett almost dabs there. He was just leaning so hard on, carving so hard on that turn there that he almost lost it.
His foot was near centimeters. Maybe a couple of inches off the ground. It's both.
It's okay. You can use metric on the stream.
I can use a real system of measurement.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that's Emmett fighting out now half of that ball. And Clement recollects.
Geneva takes it back to their own territory here.
Okay, so we have Doty now
just
on the hard forecheck. Mongrels United has very successfully shut down shooting lanes consistently throughout this whole game.
Completely. And it's probably actually best to note that they're shutting down all these shooting lanes without always parking someone at the edge of the crease. Now, right now, Doty is parked at the top of the crease, but it's generally not their style. They seem to be very high pressure on their opponent ball carrier and just never allowing any sort of space.
I think so much that comes down to confidence. I mean, not necessarily their ability, but also that of their team members.
Absolutely.
I mean, Emmett, and they all know that
Emmett
the other
goes for the rear door shot there. It's closed off just in the last second there. It is amazing the precision of shots. I mean, you think that there's a hole between the post and the wheel that's smaller than the ball, and that ball will make it through that gap, especially with these high-level players. Oof.
And a beautiful just poke tackle from Doty there to get the ball.
And Emmett
charging up through between two players.
Oh my goodness.
Clement with
lightning
the ball,
in a bottle.
being challenged by Emmett again.
Flying into the scene, just full energy. Incredible.
Now, the last time that Emmett played on these courts before this current championships was North Americans, I think,
2015.
2015.
That's right.
Where he ended up winning with.
That's right. He played with
MFM.
Yeah, Mother Funking Monster Trucks.
Yeah,
that's right. And he played on flats. They were getting ready for the Flat is Rad tournament in Europe, and he was trying to condition for that, and he played on flats, and he won MVP, as I recall.
And he was just as impressive player as he is at the moment.
Absolutely. Oh gosh, and I mean, seeing him now playing clipped in is just phenomenal.
Okay, so we have Emmett calling for a sub, I do believe. Maybe not. And so Doty's pressing high.
And he has
just
it.
collecting that ball. Great pressure applied and picking up the own botch pass. So Emmett
Nice
grabs that
reset
ball.
there.
Morgan slacking back into goal. Doty hanging high. Emmett being given a little bit of space.
Looking for a shot. Ooh.
And a little touch off, but
yeah,
off
it's a little
Thomas's
wide
front
right.
wing.
That wasn't quite on box,
Yeah.
but
Tomas being challenged by both
oh,
and Clement ball.
ball's a little poppy there. But Geneva.
Tomas collects, being challenged by
Trying
Emmett.
to rally with some energy there. Tangles up the mallet. Can't get the shot off.
And Doty challenging. Great tackle. Shot, and that was probably a little bit wide right, even if it was, you know, 3 meters off. Okay. And so we have Manu with the ball, being challenged by Emmett, now by Doty. Pass off to Thomas. Emmett,
Right
beautiful
into
mallet
Emmett's
right there to stop that pass. Doty's ball ditches across court. Morgan collects.
Comes up.
Looking for a shot.
Morgan wants it.
Oh!
Oh!
And that is on.
It was on box, blocked, and you know it had enough topspin that it just ramped right up that mallet head and over. And man, when the ball goes airborne off a deflection, anything can happen.
We now have Mongrels United with a 4-0 lead over Geneva Alley Cats with just shy of 6 minutes left in the game. So we have a ready call from Mongrels United. Geneva Alley Cats now has 10 seconds to make a cross, or will we play on? Okay, so Clement crosses for the Geneva Alley Cats.
Just creeps across there. All right. Geneva kind of doing a Mighty Ducks sort of.
Ducks fly
like,
together.
I don't know. Like it felt a little bit like they were trying to do like a straight up play. Going, kicks out to the front, shoots.
Beautiful shot, but just stopped by Doty.
And ooh, just narrow, just so narrow off that left post.
Okay, so we have Quentin passing to Clement. Clement challenged by Bouchard. Thomas collects with a big
shot.
Shot
from far.
Wide left.
Pops out. Back in the net.
We have Quentin, who unforced error unfortunately dabs out, looking to get back in play and tap back in. And Doty collects the ball. Still with the ball. Being challenged by Thomas. Big up cross pass up to Morgan. And Morgan with the goal.
2 unforced errors in like, gosh, what, in 15 seconds there?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough right there. With this much time, like under 5 minutes left in the match, 5 lead.
5-0 lead is, yeah.
I mean, that's...
It's not necessarily a game ender, but
it's a game.
It's a lot to come back from.
It's a lot to come. It's a lot to come back from with lesser teams than Mongrels United as your opponent.
So we see Thomas with the ball. Quentin collects, being challenged by Doty. Ditch up.
Oh,
Bouchard collects.
Gets a one-on-one with the goalie. Shoots. Tries to kick it back out front. Fortunate for Geneva there. Hits the back of the net. They're able to get a reset.
Okay, so we have Thomas with the ball.
Oof.
Beautiful pass.
Ahead of his teammate though. Just almost gets a random little bumble goal. And Mongrels United goal has been tipped. We've got the goal judge on the court. Gonna fix the goal position there. All right.
Okay, we have
Geneva
Thomas with the ball.
Oh.
And Emmett reads that beautifully.
Quentin open goal.
The shot.
And he misses it.
Right.
At this point, though, you know, I mean, goal differential does matter. So Mongrels should
try to get every goal they can.
Absolutely.
That's Bouchard down. Clement with the ball. Ditches to Thomas. Tomas hanging out in Mongrels United corner.
Oh.
Beautiful little mallet from Emmett.
Through his own 5-hole to his non-drive side.
And Bouchard.
That's some creative defense. There you go. Looks for it. Cross. Back shot.
Great
and it's
shot
blocked.
So you have Bouchard fighting it out in Geneva Alley Cats half for the ball. Emmett collects. And we saw Morgan motioning earlier just to slow it down, play careful. They do have a 5-0 lead at the moment, so they don't need to overextend.
Ooh, goes for the backhand block. Geneva up. Has a
ball.
Shot opportunity, but flubs it. Kicks it back down boards. And Mongrels takes it. Turnover. Here we are. Morgan cycling around. Killing a little bit of clock here.
Being challenged by Thomas.
Yep. Now,
Bouchard's ball.
You'd think in shorter matches killing the clock would be easier or more advantageous, but What I've really observed in the move to squad is that teams that can effectively wear down the clock on a longer format actually get the greater inheritance of the strategy.
Well, I mean, of course, killing the clock is a great advantage to actually, if you are ahead, to deny your opponent's time to score. But it's also such a psychological aspect. You're hoping the other team will get frustrated, will overcommit, and will go too deep.
Morgan dabs for the first time in this match. Just kind of.
I think he may have dabbed previously, but let's see. Little touch from
Morgan.
He can't break that. And Clement collects. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Quentin collects, and Emmett disrupts that pass. Bouchard with the ball. Being challenged by Thomas. Morgan collects that ball.
All the players mid-court right now.
Beautiful shot from Bouchard. But Quentin with the ball. And just wind their way up court, looking for an opportunity to shoot. Thomas cross pass to David. Big rip and wide left. Bouchard collects the ball and just dumps it back in their corner, I do believe. Oh, no. Morgan with the ball now. Looking for that cross pass up to Emmett, who catches that pass beautifully and
gets the backhand off, but blocked.
Can't quite get it. So it's David with the ball now. And we have a substitution, so Thomas coming off for Manu for Geneva Alley Cats. Manu with the ball. Passing up to Quentin. Sorry, yes, to Quentin. Bouchard collects. Goes behind goal. Being challenged by two Geneva Alley Cats players and has the speed to make it past them.
And he finds it.
Beautiful breakaway. Absolutely clutch.
Does the Mongrels hand signal? Regardless, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask them. I'm just going to go ahead and settle it. It's puppy.
It's puppy paws.
It's a puppy paws. It's puppy paws. And if it's not puppy paws, it just became puppy paws.
I mean, you heard it here first. It's puppy paws. There we go. Elias with the news. All right, so we have Manu with the cross being challenged by Bouchard. Bouchard just hanging out there in front of his wheel, denying him any sort of space. Oof. Quentin collects the ball. Manu with it.
30 seconds left. Mongrels United, complete shutout here. David coming up tight, and he
still calm under pressure. Such grace.
David, physical presence there, enough to make most players put both hands on the bars to kind of be stable through that. Bouchard manages to ride out the hit and still get a touch off on the ball in the last meter before the goal.
Okay, so we have Quentin with the cross now. Emmett with a beautiful tackle to collect that ball himself. Looking for Bouchard for the pass. Can't quite get it off. Manu alone in front of goals. Wide left.
One last shot opportunity.
That is the game.
And that's the game.
7-0 for Mongrels United.
Unbelievable.
Now,
very believable.
Very believable. I mean,
incredible play.
It wouldn't surprise me if, obviously, Geneva Alley Cats is, a little bit disappointed with their performance there. But I mean, Mongrels United has been playing consistently great polo the entire weekend. Sorry, the entire 2 days we've been here so far.
So on the schedule right now, we have a 30-minute break before we will be coming back to the third matches here on the live stream. Take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the tournament itself. So we're on day 3 of the World Hardcourt Bike Polo Championship. First 2 days of the main event, just basically seeding for what is today. Today's really whenever the high-octane matches really come to life, because everyone who's still in this tournament at this point has already had to battle their way through very tough competition.
So we started off with
cream of the cream of the cream of the crop.
Absolutely. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, from here tomorrow, do we lose more teams from today?
That's correct. That's correct. Yes. So today they're in 3 groups of 9, and so there will be another shuffling through today. And today's a full round robin. Or sorry, so today's 3 groups of 6. Yesterday was 3 groups. And so teams will play 5 matches today, and that's a lot of matches over the long course of the day itself.
It's at very least 2.5 hours of polo, and you do have substitutions.
And given the nature of the schedule, team is always on deck. So just some terminology here for those non-polo folks who are dialed into the broadcast. so the on deck is the next team coming on, and in the hole is the team following. After that 7-0 total domination there by Mongrels United against Geneva, the courts will empty out. Mostly the reason for this gap in the schedule is just because teams playing back-to-back could in some way affect the outcome, because not all teams would have that, and that's an effort to save certain teams' vitality and energy. Yeah, it would
I suppose after
unfair.
watching, as we've seen, those two very sort of fast-paced games you had, so we are reaching sort of the tail end of the tourney, so it is becoming not much more competitive, but definitely much more intense in the games themselves.
Absolutely. The
So I
stakes are
suppose,
higher.
yeah,
Absolutely.
We'll cut off, we'll get some more ourselves, and we'll be joining you shortly for some more great polo.
Yeah. Also, never a bad time to give a shout out to Lexington Bike Polo, the host of this event. Done a wonderful job here. Our sponsor, Kentucky for Kentucky, who provided endless support for this event, as well as the state of Kentucky, Kentucky Sports Authority, who provided public grant, and QX.net, who provided us this interconnection. And stay tuned for more, and we'll come back to the broadcast as soon as we can.
The 2017 World Hardcourt Bike Polo Championship is presented by Kentucky for Kentucky and by Fixcraft, Paquet, West 6 Brewery, and Kentucky Tourism, plus these fine sponsors.